Va salute, this is Troy Pacelli of Last Call, and I'm just here to let you know that the following live stream is rated R for adult language, highly inappropriate jokes, and oh, who the are we kidding? We have no idea what is going to come out of Gorilla's mouth. Viewer discretion is advised.
Friday night's here, the gang's all set. Time for the Waltons, the best one yet. Gorilla's got takes, never to tame. Resolute germ stays true to the name. Harry's got wisdom, PvP's got fire. Mikey's got jokes that never expire. Commodore Boone with the captain's call. We break it all down, we cover it all. Lights down low, set the scene. Family stories on the screen. Laughs and debates, come on through. Friday night, Walton's crew. The time to be Connor with the Buckland front to be Penning to Wolverine about to play Urban Gang lonely Wilson's play. Take a one more we catch us wrist. Ready in the lights body it says. That kid's skies never wear the old. The bat and the smoothie already there. Old the calm, the straw poor has. Friday's like small week of staying best. Lights down low, set the scene. Family stories on the screen. Laughs and debate, come on through. Friday night, Walton's crew.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another Waltons review. With me, I got Resolute Germ. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing, Gorilla?
I'm just glad the week's over. How are you doing, Mikey?
Oh, we're doing good. Thanks for asking, Gorilla. We're preparing for Easter. Suzanne's promised a really nice Easter dinner this year, so we're preparing for that next week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys ready for the prologue?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. In the days of my boyhood on Walton's Mountain, it was not only home to me, but to wild animals roaming the woods. And though they were not always welcome, guests in our house, they were reasonably free and without fear. Sometimes, though, a threat to their lives would appear. Okay. So, we start this out with... I like this little intro music they had go in here.
Oh, yeah, the fox.
Yeah, but it's a little interesting here. But
they don't use that too often.
No.
Yeah. And this is I think this is our first episode directed by Richard Thomas, ain't it?
I believe so.
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the few episodes where they don't have the panning shot from the mountain and then to the house. They start out at the house for the opening panning shot.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch.
Yeah. Something different.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're all working on there. And so you got Ben here messing with the bear trap here.
Trap? Well, that's how John Jacob Astor began. He became a...
Hey.
Eyes would appear.
Where'd you find that?
Oh, in the cellar.
Well, I got rid of that years ago.
It's amazing how you can find shit you thought you got rid of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I
My
find,
oh, go ahead.
like I find stuff I thought I got rid of. I was like, where the fuck this come from? Hell,
Yeah.
there's stuff. Hell, I got stuff. That's like, when the hell did I ever get this?
Well, you'd be surprised over at my parents' place back in Arizona. They have 3 sheds that are surrounding their house. Most of that shit is my younger sister Elizabeth's stuff, but the rest of it's like my dad's stuff. My dad is definitely a hoarder. Like he saves a lot of crap, and my mom knows it, but she's like, what can I do? I can't just tell them to, stop, saving things and whatever. Because dad is like one of those analytical types. Yeah, so he's got stuff all over the place. No wonder he lives. he and my mom live in one little room of the house by themselves with their dog, and the rest of it's all taken over by my sister. So, yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah. So,
What do you plan to do with it?
Well, I'm going into the fur business.
Are you? With one trap?
Well, that's how John Jacob Astor began. He became a millionaire.
Well, but he trapped wild things.
yeah, but here's the question though. He has like a different business adventure every week. He doesn't it seem like?
Yep.
Well, yeah, well, it seems like he has a business venture, but but they usually don't pan out, right? I was just like, yeah,
He has a very entrepreneurial spirit.
yeah, at least
Just
that.
not the experience or the know how to focus it.
Right.
That's his ADHD.
Back in the 30s, as cured
With what, an ass whooping?
daily.
With what?
If need, daily ass whoopings. If need be, twice a day.
And hey, sit there, how's it going?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dad.
So,
What do you think I'm gonna trap?
Maybe myrtle there. Or this wild thing.
Who's
Daddy, there's some kind of animal hanging around here.
Ever seen an animal trapped in one of those things?
No.
yeah, but I have a feeling that he's about to learn about animals being trapped in those things.
Oh, yeah. It's a very nice demonstration.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
suppose you were a muskrat or a mink and you're out looking for food. They got small, delicate bones, you know, just like them flower stems. And they see this trap. And they think it's food. So they reach in and
Wow.
I've seen him caught in these, son. It's not a pretty sight.
Well, there goes my
Yeah,
4th of
it's
July
been bad.
firecracker money.
Not necessarily. You ever thought about a box trap?
Box traps? They're for kids. They're just play toys.
Well, either you have to have the stomach for the muskrats and all that, or you're gonna have to find a different way, or find a different.
Yeah.
Oh, he has
Yeah,
a
well-
stomach. He just has their own family.
Yeah, Gorilla, did you ever work with a box trap?
No.
Okay. Well, we had something similar because we used it to trap lizards, things like that in the desert. And what we used was we had some chicken wire, and my dad was able to like fix it around the cardboard box inside. Well, they put the cardboard box inside so they have a place to rest in, and then the chicken wire was around it, and then he would bury it in like one part of the house. And yeah, sometimes we caught an occasional lizard, or sometimes even scorpions, things like that. We had smaller kind of box sprees like that. Kind of weird though. I mean, I don't know why we did that, but maybe going back to nature or some shit. I don't know. A long time ago.
They got advantages, son. At least they don't hurt the animals. John! Over here, Pa.
All right. Yeah, so
This box trap would be.
I think there's considerable good timber.
so here they're talking about where they're gonna go get some. They're like, there's some good timber in one area, but another area is flatter, easier to get the shit out of. There, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
business shit. Then he's talking about the reunion. Your grandpa's talking about San Juan Hill. That's a cute. Wasn't that in Cuba?
Yeah. Yeah. Spanish American War, 1898 to 1901, I think.
No, I thought the Spanish American War we whooped their ass in 3 months.
Oh, it was only in
It
3
was
months?
pretty short.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was. Yeah. Teddy Roosevelt.
The Mexican American War might have lasted 3 years.
Maybe.
Yeah, so yeah, they're making they're here's all right.
Frosted and ready to eat. Well, store-bought cakes look pretty, but they never put enough eggs in them for my taste.
Glory be to
All
God.
right, so we got Jumbo coming here. I'm wondering, he got this going on.
For dappled things. For skies of coupled colors of brinded cow. For rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim. For fluffy frosting on an angel's cake. Good. Fresh fire cold chestnut falls. Finch's wings. Whatever is fickle. Freckled. Who knows how. With swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle dim. He fathers forth whose beauty is past change. Praise him.
So, can someone put in crane eating terms what the fuck he just said?
There is no translation.
Yeah, no. I think he's trying to become a poet.
Oh,
some sort of crap poetry.
well, I needed that put in fucking crane eating terms here for me.
Yeah, but he just looks too happy. I don't get it. It's stupid what he just said. The whole thing.
Yeah. The translation is, I'm directing this episode. I get to spew off all this poetry I want.
That and a fuck you out of 10.
All right. So yeah, blah blah. They're talking about the thing here. He gets 2 sets of words. So are we at 36 or 35 still?
We should be in 36.
Let's see. Looking at the timeline here, 36. Job Boy buys a printing press in 96. Oh no, we're at the end of 35 because the next episode is like at the end of 35.
Yeah, the next episode is where their house almost burns down.
Yeah.
The burnout.
So 2 cents. How professional. We're doing research on the dime. I should have had this pulled up. I knew I was going to do it. 1935.
Okay, while he's looking that up, the Spanish-American War lasted under 3 months. April 21st to July 17th, 1898.
1898. I was right. Okay. I was right.
Barely enough time to get people from the farthest parts of the country to Cuba.
Yeah.
Actually, if you were from probably the state of Washington, you weren't making it all the way down to Cuba before the war was over.
No.
Yeah, Spanish capitulated pretty damn quickly there.
Yes.
Well, their empire was hanging on by a leg, and once they attacked the Philippines and Cuba, they said, "Fuck it, I'm out."
That all started over the USS Maine blowing up. That's a false flag, wasn't it? Like the boiler exploded, and they blamed the Spanish for some reason.
I wouldn't say so much as a false flag as a opportune accident. Those boilers had a tendency to explode on their own without anyone's interference.
Yeah. But the Spanish didn't even fucking do anything. We went to war.
Yeah, it also says here the Mexican-American War lasted from April 1846 to February 1848. So less than 2 years.
Yeah. All right, so that 2 cents though is 47 cents today.
So each word is 40 cents today?
47.
Huh. Okay.
Not bad. He can get a good $50 off of a well-written article.
Well, here's the thing though. John Boy adds a lot more. What would you call it there than
Force and verb.
scruples that I did, because I remember we had to. Remember those essays you had to write in school? They had to be a minimum of so many words.
Yeah, I remember them well. I took a number of English courses, believe me.
You would not believe how many us and does I could fit into an essay.
You were
I never
probably
had
one of
that
the
problem.
that could throw, yeah.
I would go off on tangents and
yeah.
Well, that word minimum would be met solely on for the profanity.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have teachers that corrected me too often. I always wrote great essays because I tried to be selective with my words, and I tried to keep the paragraphs like crisp and short as much as possible. I got a lot of good, feedback from my teachers on that. So
yeah. So they're talking about how they're going to write different adventure stories like Sailing There and all that, blah blah blah. The one writer wrote about there. Then they're talking about killing the wild turkey with the BB. So we had this.
Look at not again.
So a tube went out in the thing here. So what we're gonna do? We don't have the Dust Riders tonight, or blah blah blah. Oops.
That is a tragedy.
We're gonna miss
Like your
gangbusters.
television.
Gangbusters.
Oh boy.
Live without gangbusters for one night.
No, I can't, Grandma.
Just try.
You know, with this scene here, it's like one of those. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Lots of things. Read a book.
I did that at school.
Well, you
I'm
can help
surprised.
Aaron with the dishes or fill the wood box. He can come and sit beside me and let me hug you.
Grandma's like, yeah, just let me come hug you.
I'm too old for that, Grandma.
I'm not.
Oh God, he's too old.
And Grandma just pushes him like, come on, boy. Grandma wants her hug.
Yeah, Grandma wants some affection. I don't give her enough up in the bed. No, I'll stop there. Even if he's not their dad, I'll do it. Oh man.
Going away tomorrow. I better walk down to the pond.
He's giving Libby the look like, yeah, baby, come with me down to the pond there. Yeah, let's go down to the pond.
Yeah, let's go to the Red Oak
down there by the pond.
I was gonna say, John, there kind of looked like the way you felt your hard week. He looked the same way. He looked like he was just, yeah.
Only difference is he's probably getting laid at the end of the week.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Gorilla, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Lord, that wasn't right. I apologize.
Yeah. Oh, I like how he's holding her though. Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
Come on.
Can't let her get over to the kids. He'll never get what he wants.
Yeah.
Okay. And Aaron's like, they're gone. Now tell.
Finish the dishes, Aaron? I'll finish them.
Oh, it's kind of nice. An evening without that radio chatter in the way.
Well,
After a busy day, a little peace and quiet can be a welcome thing.
Well, who wants peace and quiet?
we have that all day.
Your grandma likes to collect her thoughts. It's a harmless pastime.
Now, the world would be a lot better place if people spent more time doing it.
Now, how much truth do you think there is to that?
Well, it'd solve half the problems Gen Z has because they don't know how to put thought 1 and thought 2 together.
Yeah, they just like to run their mouths.
Yeah, well, they
Half
like
the
to
time
run
they
their
don't know
mouths.
what's coming out either.
Right. And they do it without a filter. I knew back in my day.
Well, I'm a millennial. I don't have a fucking filter. Have you heard that the fucking shit that comes out of my mouth?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think you should put some thought behind your non-filtered language there, brother.
Hey. Half the time I like to talk out of my ass because my mouth knows better and people love me for it.
Now, wait a second. You can't talk out of your ass because your ass is occupied by said golden foot of LDG.
Well, I didn't think half my shit comes out muffled.
Oh, shit.
Right. And the difference is when you're talking out of your ass, there are actual words coming out. With the younger generation, it's you're lucky if it's a series of incoherent grunts.
Yeah, because they're too occupied playing their video games, their Minecraft and all sorts of other crap.
What if you don't have any thoughts to collect?
Do you want some of mine?
No thanks.
What are we gonna do now?
Hey, at
We could
least
make some
Elizabeth is
fudge.
being thought provocative right now.
Yeah.
Kind of weird for her.
Damn it, now I want some fudge.
I just had some fat-free strawberry ice cream earlier.
I didn't say fat-free strawberry ice cream. I said fudge.
Get fat-free fudge then. It exists.
Hey,
And
Lemon.
high fruit cakes, Lemon. Hey, Lemon.
Hey, Scurvy, how's it going?
I'll crack the walnuts.
Can we, Grandma?
No, we're low on sugar.
Why don't we grow our sugar? We grow everything else.
Because you don't grow sugar.
Somebody does.
How do you think we get it?
Sugar cane. You squeeze the juice out of it.
Sugar.
That would more
I saw lots
be
of it
beet
when I was
sugar.
down in Cuba.
Yeah. Oh,
here he is
hey,
again.
Grandpa started to remember this.
Oh, God.
With Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. Oh, Grandma, did you see the look on Grandma's face there? She looks pissed.
Is he gonna be at the reunion, Grandpa?
Well, only in spirit, Jim Bob.
What reunion are you talking about?
Reunion of the veterans of the Spanish-American War, the anniversary of the Battle of San Juan Hill.
Well, Grandpa, why don't you tell us about the charge up San Juan Hill?
Well,
Yeah, Grandpa here has to tell old. Do you think he'd ever get bored having to tell the same old story over and over again?
It's the greatest story of his life. He'll tell it till the day he dies.
Yeah, when he dies, it's
Till
over.
the day he
again.
forgets it.
Yeah, but yeah, well, if he has a major Alzheimer's episode, yeah.
Well, apparently he is having something like that, judging by the story.
Yeah, right.
something to remember, I can tell you that.
Zeb, you're not going to tell
Oh, yeah, Grandma's looking pissed. She's like, you're not going to tell that story.
that story again.
Well, if we can't have gangbusters, I'll settle for Rough Riders.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Charge! Charge! Charge!
Oh, God.
Come on.
Well, they gotta know the story, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, he's
Grandpa,
been
we
telling
haven't
it
heard that
since they were all in diapers.
story in a long time.
Well, it is early morning of July 1st, 1898. The sun rose up out of the sea like a ball of fire.
we Rough Riders were gathered at the foot of San Juan Hill. There was sort of the clatter and clang of an army pulling itself together early in the morning. The dust rose up high in the heaven, mingling mist on the ground. Oh, it was humid. Oh, just like a Turkish bath.
Turkish bath. Isn't that where a bunch of the naked gay men go?
It's a form of sauna, yes.
That depends on where you are. San Francisco, yes. Actual Turkey, no.
Yeah. And probably
Actual
not
Turkey,
Morocco, right?
if that was happening, you're not actually making it out alive.
Yeah.
They had the same policy that they have there now, which is free flying lessons.
Yeah, but there were baths that existed in Morocco, right, Jerm? Casablanca.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
And hey, Jim, how's it going?
Hey, Jim.
Yeah. Let's see. Leave it to the Democrats to let the Spaniards back into the pantry. Monty Birds.
Leave it to the Democrats to let the Spaniards back into the pantry.
Yeah.
Monty Burns. Yeah.
Jim said hello.
Jello.
The sun rose up higher and began to scorch our skins even before a single shot was fired. That army, our bayonets and our rifles are so hot we could hardly bear to put our hands to touch them.
Couldn't you?
Yeah, Grandma's not amused by this at all.
Yeah. There are stories, and then there are exaggerated novellas. They talk in a language like that.
You just say it was hot.
It was burning, blazing hot. It was so hot that you could have fried an egg on the ground.
Oh,
There
please.
wasn't a sound so far up on the enemy's encampment up on top of the hill. Then suddenly there came a whistling, singing sound in the air. Something exploded right over our heads. It was shrapnel from the enemy guns, and it showered all around us. And we began to duck and sort of go for cover. And then over the carbines, there came the rattle of a tat-tat-tat-tat-rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Machine gun, somebody yelled. Let's get out of here.
Oh yeah, getting up and running there. Well, wouldn't that shrapnel have hurt them all?
Not unless it hit them.
Yeah, it's got to hit them directly, even though it's scattered, grape shot and, bullets.
We turned, and then we heard his voice. That magnificent voice. It's your own Gatling guns, you sons, you men. It's your own Gatlings, you men. And there he loomed up in front of us on that magnificent steed.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, I don't think those were his exact words there. I think Grandpa changed it a little bit more family friendly.
Yeah, he looked at Grandma right in time and realized he needed to make a few edits.
Editing in real time here.
I
Fuck
do
it,
love.
we'll do it live.
Well, that's one of the few things I enjoyed about this episode is I love watching Grandma's expressions. They could speak volumes. She didn't even have to say anything while he's doing the story. It's just her reaction. Yeah.
Just a look. Not a look.
Yeah,
the look. The look.
Yeah.
Every married guy knows the look.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, let's see. Part 2, cleaning off from second desk, and many other things I lost or said. And years ago, I missed doing my fan films, but need new actors. Well, go on Facebook there, put a thing out in Star Trek groups there. I bet you find a few people that would come and do a few of them for you. And hey, Scurvy. All right.
Shouting charge!
Charge! Not yet. Dress on the colors, men, he said. Dress on the colors.
Okay, what the hell does that even mean? Dress on the colors.
I got no idea.
Okay, well, dress on the colors. It means that he wants them to charge the flags of the Spaniards. So when you say dress on the colors, they want you to march step promptly and charge the flags, the colored flags. So that's what he means. Dress on the colors. That's what Teddy Roosevelt said.
Okay.
Oh, it was such an inspiration, a sight to behold. I'll never forget it. Sitting there tall in his saddle. What was the name of his horse?
Little Texas!
That's right. And off we went. So courageous and inspiration to all of us.
No, I thought they'd say his horse's name was Silver. Hi-yo, Silver, go!
No, no. You got the wrong one. That's the Lone Ranger is Silver. Yeah, no. Yeah, Roosevelt. Yeah, Roosevelt did have a horse named Little Texas. Because Texas, at that point, Texas had already won their independence. But in the grand scheme of things, when they were taking on the Spaniards, to him, it seemed like a little state. But it's a big state. But Teddy Roosevelt was a bit eccentric. Let's be honest.
Sitting up there with the enemy's bullets flying around him like so much popcorn a popping. And then...
Charge?
Well, the way he's describing Teddy Roosevelt sounds like Teddy Roosevelt might have had a wife to bitch and he didn't want to go home. He's going to go out in a blaze of glory. Just saying. The way Grandpa's describing it, Teddy Roosevelt just wanted to go out in a blaze of glory.
Well, Gorilla, I mean, we just said, look at the way he's exaggerating the story. Look at the way that Grandma has got the look of expression that could kill people. So I'm just, that interplay between the two of them is classic in this episode. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she's holding back because that's what she's doing. She's biding her time. Yeah. For something. Yeah.
Shh! Not yet. There were some enemy pillboxes up on top of the hill, and the sharpshooters were shooting at us. And then our own men began to return the fire. Someone had been shot. Oh, it was a young man right next to me. And then a sharp, clear voice came out, ringing Teddy Roosevelt's own voice. Charge! Charge! And up we charged, up through the volley and thunder of the enemy's guns, up, up. Hang on, young man. On we went. We charged.
Yeah, Bill-type Ben's like, get your arm away from my neck, you asshole.
Up the hill till I reached the very crest.
Grandpa, I'm dead.
Up the top of the hill to the very crest of the
Grandma's just looking pissed and not amused.
hill, and I could look down on the village of Santiago. And then I grabbed that red bandana. You remember that red bandana you gave me, Esther?
I sure do.
Yeah, she's not happy about it.
It belonged to my papa on my wedding day.
I planted that bandana.
On my wedding day, he gave it to me to tie around my hair.
Esther, I planted
to tie around my hair so my hair wouldn't get blown.
Esther, I'm talking.
And that old fool left it on San Juan Hill.
Yeah. Well, why did they plant the flag instead of the bandana?
I'm sure someone else planted the flag.
Yeah,
Deb just wanted to leave his mark on it.
I'm sorry, George. Okay.
Esther, have you quite finished?
Go on.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, Dad.
Yeah, that's like when she storms out of the room and comes back. And another thing.
Yeah, you ain't getting any snack, Grandpa. Go fuck yourself.
Okay. That took a little too far there, but
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure Grandpa's had that a few nights. It doesn't phase him.
Yeah.
I planted that red bandana on top of San Juan Hill, a sign of victory for everyone to see.
Hey, victory!
Yeah, we all know the real story. This is fun. Just gotta watch it.
Yeah, so there's Grandpa's story.
Yeah.
They're talking. Then we had Miss Brittle here.
9 cents last week.
Let's see. 9. So I can't remember what you bought there, but I'm not refreshing. Let's see. 9 cents. That is $2.12. Now it's up to 11. So it pretty much went up 40 cents to $2.59.
Wow.
And then sugar is down 19 cents. So that's $4.47. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And Jim said, actors gave me the energy and ability to do my fan films and more ideas. I'm pretty sure you can find some more actors.
And Jerry.
Well, Mrs. Gormley,
Yeah. Apparently, there's like a wholesale thing you get the stuff from Jack Does Price.
Robbery.
Mrs. Gormley, I can't help it. The wholesale house raised their prices on me.
What's this?
Yeah.
But there's a depression going on.
Hey, John Boy.
Hey, Ike. Miss Gormley, good morning.
Oh, good morning,
John Boy to the rescue.
Don't you buy a thing, he'll rob you blind.
Mrs. Gormley,
Yeah. So he comes in for a number 2 pencil. And then he talks about the article there, the reunion, blah, blah, blah. And here's the little thing he comes in.
Go on.
Don't push me.
It's not gonna explode.
Oh, just.
See?
It's on
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's on a spring mechanism.
Yeah. And if Elizabeth gets too annoying, they could just throw her in that.
Wait, now look at it. Come on. Is it big enough for her to fit in there?
Yes.
Sure.
It's a
It
tight
is?
squeeze, but you can fit in it.
Okay. All right. I didn't realize that Kami Coulter was a real pain and you could just throw her inside a little cage like that. Okay. That makes sense. Hey, Elizabeth, you're a pain in the arse, so I'm going to throw you in a little box trap.
Company.
Yeah.
No, Warren.
So yeah, they're talking about that, blah blah blah. Then John Boy has the idea of reenacting it here. He talks about how he's in the first brigade and Grandpa must have been in the second one. Blah blah blah. He can charge up it. They shows him that weapon there. What was it?
First bolt-action gun adopted by the Army in 1896. We had these down there.
Yeah, it's like a 30 cal or. Oops.
Yeah.
A
You
30
know
caliber
what I
crab.
like about this guy? The actor's name is Frank Ferguson. And what I like about this guy is that he actually had a few of his own relatives that fought in the previous wars, like the Civil War and stuff like that. And he is basically he's the head of the reenactment committee, and I love reenactments. And I got to attend one. I was lucky to attend one, and I met a lot of really nice, interesting people that for 15 minutes we get to reenact a battle and a skirmish. Well, in our case, it was a skirmish, but yeah, very cool though, and you learn a lot of history too. And I'm kind of surprised at first that Grandpa doesn't even want to be a part of it, because I think it would have been cool. They could use any number of hills in Virginia to reenact lots of battles, including the San Juan Hill thing. So
Yeah, but I think John Boy is just trying to get Grandpa to the reunion.
Oh yeah, I know he is, but that's a cool gun, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's all excited for it, and he wants to raise story for Adventure Magazine, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's all excited for it. He'll get it set up. Then, I love the...
Yeah, She does a funny way. Judy Norton was talking. Yeah, it was her comedic timing. That's what Judy Norton talked about. That's funny.
So yeah, they're talking about how she's gonna bring over the cat. The cat pretty much talking to the cat. Blah blah blah. She got tired, so she sat down. Wait, what did they have trapped in there?
This is the cat.
Cat.
It's ferocious
Big animal, man. Come on, cut it out.
Be careful.
Naughty prudence to run away like that. You say you found her in a trap?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Well, I never heard of a cat trap.
Yeah, not a cat
before,
trap.
but if-
Yeah. This happened to
hello,
work
Tim.
with me. Hey, FKCHC, how's it going? It's her. Her right, I see. The broom.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah. So yeah, they bring back Prudence.
So,
needle
Tim,
hasn't
does that
been-
mean you call her
Don't
the
say
wicked
anything
grandma
to
witch?
Judy.
Okay. Oh.
she won't know the difference.
Esther, what are you planning to do? Set fire to the place?
I'm not taking out a sliver with a needle that hasn't been
Wow,
sterilized.
that's foreknowledge. Wow.
Mind your tongue,
Ouch, what
old
you
man,
say?
or she'll set fire to you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, still?
Stop jumping around. I can't do anything.
Well, I did not request a major operation, Esther. You handle that needle like a lumberjack. Ow.
I never heard a man complain so. Now, you hold still.
Esther, if you were planning to amputate my thumb, I wish you'd at least give me a say-so in the matter.
Come on.
All right.
Hold still?
I
Where's your
got you to the
motorcycle?
rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is your motorcycle?
That stupid thing blew up. I got a fellow working on it.
Ooh. Esther's trying to extract the cord of wood from my thumb.
There. There's his cord of wood. Oh, what brings you here, Ike?
Oh, I was bringing that sack of flour over to Maud Gormley, and
Yeah, so yeah, they're talking about the reunion now. He doesn't want to go, blah blah blah. They don't want to go to reunions, blah blah blah. They're just talking.
Little chickadee me. You're going, that's that, and there is no argument.
Where am I going?
To the reunion.
Well, I guess I'm the best judge of where I'm going. Work around here is more important than chewing the fat about old times.
After all
Grandma, don't worry about a thing. Grandpa, I'm happy to tell you that you do not have to go to the reunion.
What do you mean by that?
You do not have to go to the reunion.
How so?
It's coming to you.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Mr. Alan McCreary, who's in charge of the whole shebang, has moved it from Charlottesville to Walton's Mountain.
Well, whose dumb fool idea is that?
It was my dumb fool idea.
Oh, that's priceless. You should.
Yeah.
Well, you can just tell Mr. Mac whatever his name is to keep his reunion in Charlottesville, where it belongs, instead of bothering us up here at Walton's Mountain. Such fool ideas.
So, what do you think was going through when you watched this initially? What did you think was the reason Grandpa didn't like that idea or anything?
I was thinking originally he never went to Cuba.
I also
No,
think
Grandpa
that
kept confirming throughout the thing that he was at least away.
No, he was there at Cuba. We find out later on, not necessarily what he did. It was how he did something to someone to save their life. So we find that out.
What was the initial thought was the question.
Part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm asking, what was your initial thoughts going through your head?
My initial thought was that, like I said, I didn't think he actually fought in the battle because he was being so exaggerated about it. But I do think that he had a part in it. He just wasn't getting around to that. That's what was my initial thought when I watched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I never doubted he joined the army. I just doubted he made it there in time.
Yeah, he wasn't there on that charge, right? He didn't go up the hill.
He got all the way down to the Florida Keys and then all of a sudden the war is over, time to go back.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So they think it. So.
Idea.
Why?
A friendly reunion is one thing, but reenacting a battle in which young men died on both sides is something else again. Seems to me you're glorifying war.
Yeah, you have a problem with that.
Her and her Baptist ways.
I know, but still, come on. Hey, Curtis.
How you doing, Curtis?
Hey,
Well,
Curtis, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they were playing with someone's pussy, I see. Because everyone died in the last one.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, Tim. Tim for comic relief, everybody, tonight.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah.
I thought I was being comic relief tonight.
Well, I think Tim just took the mantle from you for a little while here, there, Gorilla.
I wouldn't do such a thing.
Well, you get a bunch of old fossils charging up a hill. They might make it look like all fun and games, but it wasn't.
I don't want Ben or Jim Bob or any other youngster to think that war is no worse than a turkey shoot.
I just thought it'd be fun for Grandpa.
John?
Well, they're going to learn in a few years, I think.
Yeah.
Boy, it wasn't fun. Not for those that stayed at home. And not for those that went either, no matter how much they like to talk about it.
I have to admit, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so their silverware must be made out of silver.
Oh yeah, that time definitely.
Yeah, but isn't Virginia nowadays like one of the premier hotspots for reenactments, especially with the American Civil War?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, this guy's just they had to have it. They had to have it. So much planning. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. It's too late. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a glorious chapter, considering the limited amount of time it lasted. Well, it's like the British. When you asked them about the Falkland Islands, they said, "Oh yeah, that was a great war." No, it didn't last very long. It was just a big overall skirmish about two crazy islands, and the Argentinians took it over for a brief moment of time, and then the Brits said, "Okay, let's just use all of our power and might," and well, that was fast.
I don't even know what the significance of the Falkland Islands even is. It's
what I was comparing was that the battle between America and the Spanish is kind of similar to what happened between the British and Argentina over the Falkland Islands later on in the early 80s. The only difference is that one was shorter than the other, but the concept was the same. The Spaniards were taking over Cuba. America said, "I don't think so," and then they just walked in. While the Argentinians tried to take over the Falkland Islands, and the Brits said, "Oh, I don't think so," and they walked in. So, yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to use as a comparison. A lot of years between those two wars, anyway. Yeah.
So yeah, they're fishing. They're gonna hold it on their side of the island. He's gonna write an article. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And Zeb didn't think it would be worth it. Blah 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 blah.
This is where you know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Zeb would never pass up a chance to have such a glorious story of his put into writing.
Do you think that's where his conscience set in there, Germ? Concerning what really happened with him?
Yeah, he doesn't want... There's something wrong with the story if he doesn't want it put out there.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true, Tim.
Where are we at?
If we kept Cuba, a lot of things would have been different.
Let's see. I didn't think about it as a kid, but now I think Mama's got it going.
Got it going on.
Which mama? Are you talking about Esther or Olivia?
I think Olivia would
Well-
have it going on better.
Hey, at Curtis's age, it's both.
Okay, it's both.
All right. MKHC says, thank you. Hello, Curtis. I'll wait until the years 1935 to 45 come around, lady.
Oh, yeah. World War II, baby.
Yeah. For about a year, I was studying it. The war was a terrible, terrible thing. The Mexican, the Spanish one, we kicked
The
their
Spanish
ass in
one?
3 months. How terrible can it be?
It wasn't that terrible.
The war is usually a terrible, terrible thing, but by comparison, it was not very terrible for us. The Spanish, on the other hand, that's the last big hurrah into world politics. And, well, now they're known for mid-afternoon siestas and fighting communists in civil wars.
Yeah. Yeah, if we kept Cuba, yeah, a lot of things would be different. I wonder how the Cold War would have ended up differently.
Well, they wouldn't have had that little incident with JFK.
And Russia.
Which incident? You gotta be a little bit more specific.
Not the one involving the blonde.
Right.
Well, are we talking Dallas? Or are we talking the Cuban Missile Crisis? Or are we moving about the stare down in Turkey? Or
Oh, you don't know that those are all the same incident.
Yeah.
Okay. And what the Brits needed in the Falkland Islands was Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, not wrong, Tim. Falkland Islands, yeah, they needed a figurehead.
They needed a figurehead like Roosevelt. Yeah.
Yeah, it was mainly the diseases for the Spanish-American War. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the Philippines. Cuba, yeah, but nowhere near what the Philippines was.
Now, Philippines had a lot more problems with the diseases.
The Philippines actually didn't get cleaned up until World War II.
Right.
And that was not a good way to do it.
So, yeah, so Ben here catches a fox.
Yeah.
They're talking about the fox, and it's a lie, blah blah. Now they're talking about different ways to kill it. They're like whack it on the head, then skin it, make sure to put it to sleep, blah blah blah. They'll chloroform it. They'll even I didn't know that was readily available at that time.
I didn't know chloroform was available. I thought it wasn't until later. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they're talking about this getting killed. They're going to go to perimeter, blah blah. So Grandpa apparently went off. Oh wait, this is an important scene here.
His mind. I remember.
Probably wouldn't speak to him. He's so upset about this reunion business.
Well, now don't you go blame yourself for your grandpa's moods. He hides in that little world of his when he's got something on his mind. I remember way back when it was the Maine. Yeah.
You mean the battleship Maine?
Yeah.
The one blown up off of Cuba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That actually drew America into the war in the first place. The USS Maine the USS Maine was sitting in the harbor. Was it near where they eventually built the canal germ, or was it some other location?
Nowhere near a canal. Is just sitting in Havana Harbor.
Havana Harbor, okay.
Yeah.
And then it got blown up, torpedoed. Yeah.
They said it was a torpedo, but there's no way in hell it's actually a torpedo. It's just those boilers were not the most sound construction.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So MKC says, having lived in Guam as a kid, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
And Jerm says, too soon?
Too soon? What's
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Oh man.
best friends was killed. Oh, I'll never forget it. All those young men so stirred up, so anxious to enlist, including Zeb. And I made the mistake of telling him that war was for single men, not men with a, well, with a wife. I almost made this mistake of him and a child. You know, Zeb didn't know I was carrying John at the time.
I'll never understand why you didn't tell him.
Well, we were so young.
Yeah. Well, that one asshole in fucking the Patriot would disappear. He'll tell you wars are not just fought by, well, childless men.
Right.
Nor should it be. You need to secure that family line.
Yeah.
But we do get some interesting information off of this. So she was pregnant with John at the time, so that's 98. So let's stretch it out generously. Say he's born in January of 99. John is 36 years old.
Yeah.
No, 37.
37? Okay.
If he's born in 98, I'd say be generous. If he's born in January of 99, he is 36 at the moment.
Yeah.
Does John look 36 to you?
Yeah, he looks older than 36.
He looks like he had a few rough years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he damn well should look more older than 36. Mikey Welford was like 43 at the time.
Yeah, he was. But also, don't forget, he's had all these kids too with Olivia, so that'll age any man.
Yeah.
Kids will age the man faster than the woman. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Thankfully, I didn't have kids myself, but I learned when I watched my dad age not too well in front of me after, the first three of us, and then the one that was unexpected was my youngest sister, Liz, and she came, and then he was like, wow, he really changed. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have to grow old faster so we can die faster. We have to die faster than women because we need that little bit of peace in the afterlife before they arrive, just so we can prepare for eternity.
Right.
We have to have a little bit of buffer time so we can set our minds right. We have to deal with eternity. We just dealt with life. We have to have a little bit of reprieve.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and Tim says, and it's the 1930s. Well, Yeah. A lot of tension in the air. Well, I mean, come on, we're talking less than 4 years later. You go to war again. Second World War. These people have no idea what's coming. They don't. But you can honestly back then you could tell there was a lot of tension.
Yeah.
My dad's dad would tell me about that. Our grandpa would tell us about that. So
yeah, and FKC says, and it's the 1930s. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have access to any of the beauty cream or the like.
No.
Well, hey, just a sec.
I think Lemon Pie is talking about he said a buffer zone. I think he's talking about purgatory. That's usually considered the buffer zone between Earth and heaven, and also between heaven and hell. So,
well, yeah, no necessary. Just let us get to heaven first, so we have that time to decompress and make sure that get everything set in our heads, because when they show up, they're going to want to change something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Tim is right. Yeah, in 1936 they had the Spanish Civil War. That was Franco, right? Yeah, Franco. Yeah, that was going on too. Yeah, before the World War II started. That's
Yeah.
right, Tim.
So, all right. So,
I was afraid he felt trapped enough as it was without saddling fatherhood on him. And he was so eager to go. And he just moped in that little world of his until I just couldn't stand it. Yeah, so I finally told him to go. It was his duty to go, his patriotic duty. I didn't want him to hate me for holding on to him. And then later, I thought maybe I hadn't been right, that it would have been better if he was with me, even hating me, than lying out there somewhere in a battlefield in Cuba.
So not going to be knocked out.
oh,
Tim. She said duty. Tim.
Oh.
Tim's in rare form.
It does seem a little out of character for Esther to let him go to war.
Yeah.
Maybe that what made her like that.
yeah. So let's see. That buffer zone between Earth and Heaven to get a break for the old battle axe. It's 1936, so it's the Spanish Civil War going on. But we're still 35, but close. She said, "Duty."
She's a duty. He's a duty.
I didn't hear from him for weeks. And when he came home from the war, when he came home to me and John, I was...
Oh, Mama.
And see, that's the acting we don't get anymore. You know, I'm actually getting a feeler here the way Grandma's behaving.
Well, you could see it was like you talked about with Ralph Waite, the way that his eyes tell a story. Well, you're starting to look at, Richard Thomas, the same way. The eyes are telling the story here. And same thing with Michael Learned as Olivia. It's, you'll never see that again. I mean, you'll never see it in any movies or any films or TV at all. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real acting. That's a lost art. Directors nowadays don't like people to do real acting. They want the actors to go out there, read the lines, and move and act and sound exactly the way they want them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, directors are retarded.
Well, they pretty much all are now.
John, will you get your grandpa in here now?
So she sends him after his grandpa, blah, blah, blah. Then they'll go wash up for supper. Then he has a phone call from Rick. He has to go talk to him. Tell him only 3 guys who showed up. They didn't like the idea, so he had to cancel. Let the Methodist Church, blah, blah, blah.
Well, of course, they didn't like the idea. They're all as old as Zeb. If you had all those old men running up that hill, you're going to get at least a few broken hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been there. I think he. Oh. God, it's buffering.
Well, he could have exaggerated here, then could have exaggerated to Liz and said, "Yeah, Liz, I'm just going to go ahead and cut his head off and we're going to sell his pelt." That's something like that. But
you don't
no.
Want to cut the head off.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Ideally, you want to poison them.
Oh, that's even worse. Then he has to writher in pain. At least if you do it quick, it's quick, it's fast. You don't want him to suffer.
Nice little poison to food. He just goes to sleep and he's gone, and you can get that pelt perfectly off of him.
Yeah. And at FK, she says, and have it up to here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you feel if you were?
Look, this is none of your business.
Well, this is interesting. 2 Waltons and a fox in the middle. What are you going to do, Ben?
I don't know.
He's me.
Well, look at him. He kills chickens.
Yeah, I found about the thing there, blah, blah, blah.
He wants to kill.
If you caught
So there's this thing, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. But I do like what Elizabeth. But I do like what Olivia, what Mom says to Ben to convince him, to eventually let the fox go.
Yeah.
It's the way she says it, the way she expresses it. So I like this part. I do. I enjoy this interaction.
Oh, this is the gold part right here.
Okay.
But it's buffering.
Damn circle of death.
Here, you old fella. Couple of stubborn old mules. One of them trying to tell the other what a jackass has made of himself through all these years.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to
But
tell
I
me?
didn't think mules are considered jackasses.
Well,
They're bastard jackasses.
They're bastard.
Oh, good.
Well, then what do you call burros then, Germ?
Oh, they're just plain bastards.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think we got a beep. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Well, don't rub it in. Well, thank you kindly.
Hey there.
For quitting.
Hey, PvP.
Sorry I'm like an hour late, but I've been having nothing but issues. Well, my computer's running fine today, but when I go to the icons to click on switch over to my headphones tonight, it's not there. It's gone, right? The hidden tray. It's like it's been doing that lately. Sometimes it'll show up, sometimes it won't. So I spent the last hour trying to figure out how to do a workaround on this. I finally watched a YouTube video some guy posted and followed one of his methods to get the hidden icons. What I ended up doing is I ended up just going and getting the speakers, the sound thing back on. And I selected the headset through that method. So I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's just been doing some weird shit. But anyway, I'm glad I finally got here. So I guess I didn't miss too much, did I?
Well, we're almost done. I mean, we're
You're almost done already?
Almost.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through fast.
My
John boy.
God. That's got to be like an Olympic record.
Well,
what are you
This used to
doing
be a
up
half-hour
here,
show.
young man?
I could ask you the same question.
Yeah, it's been a 2-hour show, 3-hour show.
I come up here to tell you the
sometimes in last
reunion's been
couple
called
of
off.
I suppose you think that's why I come up here on a kind of your dumb, silly old reunion.
Yes, it is.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, just what you've been thinking. I did come up here on a kind of your dumb, silly old reunion.
Well, that is something that I just don't understand. Grandpa, you want the truth?
It's embarrassment. False pride. I didn't want to go to that reunion. I'm kind of your grandma. She'd eventually found out the truth.
So, like, why would he think, like, this didn't make sense to me at first until afterwards. They're like, you think Jabba would need to do a little bit more praying.
Well, you think he would have done a little bit more research or gone to do some background checking?
Well, you would have thought would there not be some kind of record of the men that fought in that battle? Like, I know records were maybe sketchy back in those days, but you think somebody would have written down the name of the men that enlisted to fight? Like, even back then, they would have had paper records, right?
Well, they would have had first-hand accounts, PvP,
Yeah.
especially from behind the lines.
So I'm surprised John Boy didn't even seem to make an attempt to look into that before he confronted Grandpa here.
Well, he had that second job. He directed this episode.
Oh, well, that explains it then. Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's like I think John Boy kind of missed a step here. Just saying.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an awful thing to have even that kind of a white lie festering in your soul for over 40 years.
What do you mean, Grandpa?
Well, the truth is, contrary to what I have been telling you all these years, I never was a member of that wonderful organization known as the Rough Riders. It was never my privilege to be one of Teddy Roosevelt's chosen few. I was in the Army, but they gave me the only job I guess they thought I was fit for.
Tending the horses.
What was that?
Tending mules.
So I thought the whole battalions were Teddy's Rough Riders. Everybody under his command.
His direct command, which was just the cavalry, that particular cavalry unit.
And I don't think the cavalry were using mules at that time, from what I can remember.
No, they were using. I thought they were using like a form of Shetland pony or some kind of Mustang. A Mustang, maybe.
I hope they weren't using mules.
Yeah,
charged eventually.
Well, the mules were used for supply. They were supply mules.
Well, they're good for that. Yeah, because they're sturdy little buggers,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Grandpa was told to do. He was told to supervise the supply mules for the supply train.
Supply mules. Actually, Supply Mules. That wouldn't be a bad band name, actually. Supply Mules.
Well, there were supply trains that were used back in in the American Civil War. Only 30 years before. So
were there still instances where they used mules as supply animals in World War I? Like I'm totally probably talking to my ass here, but
by that time, not really.
Not really.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But they used a lot more horses. I know that in the Second World War, they did use a lot more horses. There were a few horse cavalry charges that the Russians tried to turn back the Germans when they were trying to invade, Stalingrad and Leningrad and so on.
They were actually using horses in WW2. That seems bizarre.
They did, yeah.
Well, they were using everything.
Everything.
Wow.
They were sending stray dogs at the Germans at one point.
Yeah,
literally every living thing in Russia was attacking the Germans.
Yeah, what was the big battle that went on for like a year? Was that Stalingrad or Leningrad or
Stalingrad?
Stalingrad.
Yeah,
Leningrad was under siege for 2 years.
Okay, right. But do you remember that? You guys probably too young to remember that series. What was it? It was a war series back in the 70s. Gosh, help me out here, Mikey. You might remember it.
It was in black and white, right? It was
Well, it was a documentary, and they used a lot of actual black and white footage from World War II.
It was called The World at War.
The World at War. That's it. Thank you, because that was a brilliant series, actually. And
I watched it on PBS. I did a lot of research.
Great series, really well written, and great archival footage of a lot of the stuff that went on. And I remember the episode, I guess the Stalingrad one. Watched like the whole hour, and it was really incredible to watch. Like what those people went through back then was just unreal.
Yeah, and then there was the other one was called Victory at Sea. That was the other one that were the Japanese and the Americans fighting in the Pacific Theater.
I've heard of that one as well. Yeah. Anyway, Zeb's probably waiting for us here before he expires.
Poor Zeb. He gets shafted.
Yeah.
I liked that they gave Zeb a little bit more time in this one.
Right.
I did like that fact.
All right.
Go ahead there.
What do you think of that now?
Never knew the army was so practical.
He's laughing at that, but they were practical.
I made that charge to the top of San Juan Hill. I never did. It's on account of your grandma, though. She sacrificed an awful lot to let me go. I don't suppose you recollect that she was carrying your daddy while I was away.
She was talking about it the other day.
After I got back, I just couldn't bear to tell her the miserable truth. So I sort of fabricated things, embroidered the story. Another way your grandma embroiders a tablecloth, sort of perk it up while I embroidered my story, just to make her happy. You young ones seem to enjoy it, too. And after a while, it got so that I almost begun to believe it myself. You know, that's the way a lot of our memories are almost pure fabrications. It wasn't what happened, but just what you wished and hoped would have happened.
You know, that's some great lines there from Zeb, I gotta say.
It's an excellent scene, isn't it, Gorilla?
I almost hate to pause it there, but fucking Warner Bros.
Well, don't you think they're going to, get the lube out anyway, there, Gorilla? No matter what you do.
Well, they ain't gonna use no fucking lube. What are you talking about?
Well, don't they usually strike you every bloody week with this show?
Well, it's been getting a lot worse.
Okay.
And in my memory, I made that charge up San Juan Hill. That's what I want to remember. Is it so criminal, John Boy, to want to have pleasant memories?
And now we're at the justifying point of it.
A lot of good lines in this scene, though, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I kind of like Richard Thomas's acting here too. He's not really doing anything over, like he's not over emoting, but he's just kind of almost underplaying it, and it really works well.
Yeah.
Sometimes that underdoing it is better than overdoing it.
I think it often is, actually, Gorilla. Yeah.
You know what's also sad is one of these older gentlemen that are in this episode literally died 2 years after this episode was made. So, but the person that passed away did have a long career. I think they were in their 90s or something. I checked it with IMDb on the episode. So,
yeah. Well, if I make it to my 90s, I won't complain. I won't complain. I got enough.
What's going to stop you?
I'm already complaining in my 60s like a son of a bitch. So,
well, PvP. Even if you don't make it to your 90s, you can't complain after that anyhow.
Well, yes, that was a thought that did go through my head just now. Yes.
Yeah.
And Tim, that is a very unpleasant picture you just put in my head.
Alrighty, let's catch up on chats here. That was the new wife. I see the donkey. PvP.
Hey,
these guys can't make sense of my comments tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And Grandpa is also a communist too. The world at war.
Great series.
And PvP, read this one.
Okay. Lemon Pie said, PvP, you affected my real life. Wow. You said it doesn't make sense that lemon pie is not really in my top 5 pies. I haven't had a slice in years. I bought one today. Wow. There you go. The power of suggestion, eh? There you go.
Hey, that's a pleasant memory to have with you when you move on off your mortar coil.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very, very. I'm touched, Lemon. That's really sweet. And I bet the pie is too.
I'm sure it is.
Maybe a bit tart though. Maybe a bit tart as well because lemons,
maybe.
Yeah. So and then.
And what does Tim say?
So he can blackmail him now. Nice.
Yeah.
And grandma are into butt stuff, I bet.
Oh, God, did you have to go there, Tim?
Hey, when did Scotty change his name in YouTube?
Wait. First, PvP says he wants to see grandma do it on the kitchen table. Then Mikey was talking about them bringing out the whips and the ball game there. Now we got Tim here mentioning grandma and grandpa like the butt stuff.
Oh my God.
I have
Yeah.
interrupted you guys entirely now.
I don't know what to think about that. Yeah.
Oh, did
but
you have to
but
bring up the fact that I mentioned whips and chains? Come on.
but you know, to be fair, when I mentioned it the first time, I was just thinking they were going to do like a nice, very polite missionary style, with giving lots of gentle kisses and very loving, And then
Oh.
Mikey goes for the bondage shit, and then now we got the butt stuff now. It's like, oh, fuck.
We turned this into
Well,
a
Lemon
PDMS
can't argue with you, Lemon.
Yo, I can't argue with you, Lemon.
Hey, life's too short to be have a stick up your ass all the time.
Oh man, or a boot in the case of Gorilla
Or
with
a boot, but
LBG.
Gorilla. I gotta say, Gorilla's been doing very well
Hey,
tolerating that for
I
a long
will
time.
say it hurt at first, but it just got comfortable. That's all.
It got comfortable. Yeah, that's great. You said you shit right through it too when you
Oh,
go to the
Jesus.
bathroom.
All right, let's play this.
Children
Yeah.
right in this house.
My word. You know that we.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to play that part. Here, this is the part.
You have company. Zeb Walton and my grandson, John Walton Jr.
How do you do?
Mr. and Mrs. Allerton.
Nice to know you. It is a pleasure, ma'am.
Why, it's my pleasure, Mr. Walton.
Zeb, you old rascal, you. Boy, am I ever happy to find you again. I never knew where you were till McCrary talked about a charge up Walton's Mountain. I said to Elaine, that's got to be Zeb Walton's Mountain. And sure enough, after all these years, I can't believe it.
Hey, Grandpa has the same look I have on my face there when people say my name there. Like, who the fuck are you?
Well, especially if you haven't seen somebody in 40 years and you're trying to remember who the fuck they are, right?
Yeah, when they stand out, but you just don't.
I mean, I've had that happen, right? Somebody will walk up. I just actually had that happen like maybe 4 months ago when I was in the supermarket, and some guy I hadn't seen in like 5 years, I knew him in a classroom situation when I was taking the work skills upgrade, at the community resource center like 6 years ago. And I hadn't seen him in like 5 years. And he walks up and he says, "Hey, I think I see so-and-so." And I'm like, "Well, who the fuck are you?" And then of course I recognized him, right? But I know exactly the look of Zeb's face right there. He's like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
Well, I know with me,
I might believe
my very last reunion was, 12 years ago. My last high school reunion, my 30th. I actually met more people at my 30th reunion than I did on my 20th or my 10th, which is
Interesting.
odd because we had, like I said, we had over 300 people that graduated from our own class. But that was the last reunion I attended. I didn't even go to the one in 2023. Well, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons, but yeah.
Yeah.
If I knew what to believe. Just who are you, sir?
Bob Allerton.
Right there, that's the look I'm talking about, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
You don't
should know
remember.
who you are, but it's not coming to me.
Yep, exactly.
Thankfully, right now, it's a guy he hasn't seen in 40 years and not one of the grandkids.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell your folks about me?
Well, if you're not Teddy Roosevelt, I don't think you did.
No, you couldn't be. Bobby?
Yeah.
Bobby! Little Bobby Allerton!
I never forgot
I
you.
think he actually remembered it. He's just playing along with it right now.
I think I know he actually remembered it because we're going to find out why in a second.
I could never forget the man that saved my life. Oh. Didn't you ever tell him about us?
No, Mr. Allerton. I don't think he ever did.
The truth is,
Well,
I wouldn't be
he
here
thought
today.
you died.
Yeah.
This is a great scene.
If it weren't for Zeb Walton. Oh, we were just starting up the hill. I was scared stiff, shaking in my boots. Zeb was standing just a few feet away from me when the shooting started. I guess I was about the first one hit. I went down. Next thing I knew, Zeb was kneeling over me, tying a tourniquet around my leg. A red bandana. I'll never forget.
Wow.
I kept trying to...
Look at the sudden realization on grandma's face right there. Keep an eye on her face here.
Get up. But he held me down, saying, "Hang on, boy, hang on." And then, when the enemy fire slowed down, he picked me up and slung me over his shoulder like a child and carried me all the way back to the base hospital.
Yeah. So grandma has that kind of like look like now she's proud of Zeb there. But does it look like she's already kind of like seeing like the signs of a stroke there with her right eye here?
Well, the aging process can kind of do those kind of things to your face, even if you're not having a stroke, though.
But you go frozen. Yeah.
Well, there's a thing called gravity where everything starts to kind of sag in spots.
Yeah, but I'm going by future knowledge too.
Well, it could. I'm not saying no. I'm not disagreeing. I mean, how many more episodes have we got before that?
Until she has it. Until she has it.
I don't know.
It's coming up.
You said you had knowledge.
It's coming up.
I know she had a stroke and she was out for 2 years. I just don't know when it happened.
I think it's this season, isn't it? Sometime.
Maybe.
Mikey would probably be the expert on this.
I could look that up. You know what? I will look that up for next time. So when we do the burnout next week, yeah, I'll let you guys know when she had the stroke.
Oh, let's see.
I was just gonna say, looking at Grandma's face here, I bet Zeb's actually going to get some tonight.
Well, yeah, he's more of a hero than he said he was.
Hey, he's a war hero. Come on, you got to give the guy, you gotta
give him his boom chicka wow wow.
I mean, a war hero. A war hero.
Red Oak? Red Oak needed.
A war hero has got to plant his flag occasionally.
Woohoo!
Just saying.
Even though it's old and gray and dusty down there.
Hey! The roof might get gray, but that doesn't mean the fireplace has gone out.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And with that,
the bullets were screaming around our ears. Oh, Zeb, we never got to the top of San Juan Hill. Thanks to your granddad, I came through the war alive.
Whatever happened to that red bandana?
Best moment of the episode.
There it is.
Right there.
Fabulous.
Good.
Now, would that be a souvenir you'd want to keep?
Yes, because it saved his life.
Yeah.
Well, he held on to it, not for himself. He wanted to give it back to Zeb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to give it to Zeb to show him his appreciation, great, deep appreciation for saving him.
Yeah. And all those years.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. And all those years it had sentimental value.
Zeb,
but now it means even more because he's giving it back to him. And he gave it to her right for the wedding day. So
it's like this scene, everything goes full circle in this scene, and it's wonderful.
It is. It's cool.
Oh man, look at Will Gear is so good here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Once again, we're talking about those facial expressions, right, Jerry? Things we'll never see again.
Yeah.
And so, for our prologue here.
Epilogue?
Prologue.
Hopefully not going back to the prologue.
Let's see. Grandpa's story of the charge up San Juan Hill was different when he told it after that, but in many ways more satisfying to him, and he listens. Just at dusk of that day, Grandpa rode alone up Walton's Mountain. Perhaps it was San Juan Hill. He saw that there was sunset. This time there was only silence and peace, and this time he made it all the way to the top. I wrote my story for Adventure magazine, but was rejected with the terse note from the editor, not interested in the Spanish-American War.
Wow.
Alrighty. So, holy shit, the chat took off here.
Uh-oh.
Goes, yep, but in a good way. That lady in the middle swings. Okay, we'll go with that. We're all sick bastards to a point, especially
Oh,
Cynthia.
Dan.
Especially Cynthia.
I have not eaten lemon pie since I created this handle. I feared it may have cosmic consequences.
Well,
Now that, hey, if you ever think it'll have cosmic consequences, it'll never have much cosmic consequences as answered the question of if a group of stormtroopers and a bunch of red shirts get into a fight, do the stormtroopers actually hit something, or do the red shirts actually survive an away mission?
That's a good one.
Yeah, nice. Whatever.
Hey, there's something for Dan to think about since he's a big Star Wars guy. Like maybe he could mull that over in his mind for a couple days, and next time when he's on the panel, he could give us his opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's more useful, a stormtrooper or a red shirt?
Well, they're both pretty useless when you think about it, right? Like
That's exactly my point. They're
Yeah.
useless.
So it's like
their function perfectly. They do a very good job of dying.
Cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder. Exactly my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scurry says, in reality, Ben's later tonight. You'll know why.
Or an asteroid actually hits us right, Sir Lemon, or the next
Hey,
volcano.
an asteroid is actually on its way.
It is. Yes.
Red Bandana, both of them would visit Folsom Street Fair after that. I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to mean.
That's a hippie thing.
Stay on target and destroy the Death Star before it blows up the Earth. Alrighty. So I do got pull the chat. I'll be ending it here pretty soon.
Okay.
Sure. What do you got going on? Or not? Or what's your thoughts on this thing? On that side,
The main story was good. The giving the title to the B story, which took up maybe 5 minutes, was an odd choice.
Yeah.
So all in all, B plus.
B plus, okay. Mikey, how about you?
Well, I actually gave it kind of a more disappointing grade. I did give it a C plus, but the reason I did that is because Richard Thomas, for a first time, I'll grant that he didn't do a bad job as a director for the episode, but I think maybe he should have waited a few more episodes down the pike, to direct. Because I've always known Richard Thomas as, being on Broadway, doing the, not just this, but of course he did movies too. And I think he was better off out in front of the camera rather than behind it. So, but I admit, there was a good scene, there, that we just saw, with the bandana and Grandma, Grandpa, and Mr. Allerton. And that's what kind of did bring up my grade, because initially I was going with a straight up C, but with that little bit of extra that, means that, even though it's his first time, Richard Thomas is learning. And as we progress through the rest of the series, I know he directed a few more episodes, which were better quality. So that's why I gave it a C plus.
Okay. PvP, how about you?
I find, in some ways I found this episode quite perplexing. And really, when I watched it last night, I was very uncertain for a while as to what grade to finally give it to. And like Mikey, my thoughts went back and forth as to the final grade point. I thought calling it the Fox was an odd choice. I agree with Mikey. Like, since the Fox was really, the Fox was the B story, really.
It was.
It really was. I mean, so, I don't know why they titled it The Fox, and maybe we'll never know. But I did greatly enjoy seeing Zebulon get featured, because he doesn't get featured in a lot of episodes, let's face it. And we had mention of the San Juan, the Rough Riders and all that in previous episodes. So this kind of added to his backstory quite a bit, which I really enjoyed. And one thing that puzzles me though, why for years did he brag about being a Rough Rider to the family, to the wife and the kiddies, and then when John Boy is confronting him in that scene towards the end of the episode, Zeb is almost in tears, going, "Oh, I faked it. I made it all up. It's all bullshit, right?" Like, and then at the very end of the episode, we find out, no, it wasn't bullshit. It actually really happened, and he saved the guy's life by tying, you know, grandma's, bandana around his leg to stop the blood loss, and Zeb being a much larger man, obviously, than the little fella, threw him over his shoulder and hoisted him back over to the hospital. And it's like, well, then we realized Zeb really was kind of a war hero because he saved a life in a battle, right? And that puzzled me, is because like he's denying it to John Boy, and then not too much later in the episode, he's confronted with the truth, and he can't deny it at that point because everybody realizes then that he actually was in San Juan, going up that hill. And but that puzzled me. Why did Grandpa lie to John Boy, and then have to basically face the truth at that one of that final scene there? Like,
because he didn't actually make it up to the hill. When he got back, he wanted Esther to think he did some grand adventurous thing. In his mind, saving the guy's life wasn't nearly as heroic as to warrant him actually going. He thought Esther would be a little angry with him.
I think Esther would have been totally. I think she would have loved that he saved a man's life personally.
Yeah, she would have been.
But
proud of that. Yeah.
The thing is, though, when he was talking to John Bay, wasn't he basically saying he fabricated and made it all up, and like it was all lies? Like that's what it sounded like to me when he was talking with that scene with John Boy.
Well, he did exaggerate.
It's like, I was never there. He said I was looking after mules. That's what he said when he was talking to John Boy.
Right, supply mules.
He never was in the battle, but he was in the battle. So that's the one point that confused me, because that's conflicting to me. Telling John Boy, basically he's telling John Boy a barefaced lie.
No, he told John Boy the truth. He wasn't a Rough Rider. He was part of a different attachment.
Well, the
Rough Riders were not the only. Yeah, the Rough Riders were not the only ones going up San Juan Hill.
Well, okay. I respectfully disagree, but whatever. Thing is, though, that last scene with the red bandana and the reactions of Grandma and John Boy and everybody in the scene, and especially Zeb himself you could tell he's being overcome with emotion, because he's remembering saving the life of a man he hasn't seen in 40 years. So that really saved it for me, because I thought, the Fox stuff was basically pointless and silly. I know they were trying to do an anti-fur message or whatever with that, but to me, that's not really, the Waltons is not about political messages like that. It's more about telling just a damn good story. And so I had, I was thinking B level, and then eventually after that scene with the red bandana, I moved it up to C, A minus.
Okay.
A minus. I thought it was a good one. I thought basically because of Zebulon getting lots of scenes, and basically that was it.
Okay, Gorilla.
All right.
Gorilla?
Overall, it's pretty good. The B story kind of dragged it down a little bit there. I was more interested in Grandpa's reunion and all that other stuff. The Fox thing was just like totally pointless, but I think the title, the reason they named it The Fox is kind of supposed to be like an allegory, maybe that because foxes are supposed to be like sneaky, and there's some allegory with it, with Grandpa's story, and they just had to put a real fox in there for the second story, which was totally pointless. I kind of wish there wasn't a B story. Well, not. Kind of like last week's episode, or a couple weeks ago when we had just the main story of them being lost in the woods. There was just one story. But Grandpa's, the total last like 10, 15 minutes there totally sold the episode for me. So I'm going to give it an A minus. I'm detracting the rest of it from an A plus because of the Fox storyline that they had with it.
Yeah, I do want to quickly mention, like I said, I do want to quickly mention, as I was talking about it previously, I gave it a C plus for two reasons. One, because Richard Thomas, it is his first episode, and
I thought you gave it a B minus, Maggie.
I didn't move it up to a B minus. I gave it a C plus.
I think you said something otherwise earlier.
I said B minus.
No, Germ said B minus.
Yeah. See, I thought you said higher than C plus.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're telling me that Mikey had a lower score for an episode, even though he's the guy that says that the Minecraft movie was a good movie. He had a lower score than
I was
Germ.
using some reality here, Gorilla. Come on.
I might have to buy another lottery ticket. Are you? One on Jill swearing. I did not win on Raquel swearing. So I might have to buy another lottery ticket here with Germ having a higher score than Mikey.
I really thought Mikey said B minus. Man,
No. I said C plus.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
hey, anyway, polls.
Yeah. So we got the poll for this week. And guess who comes on top again? Everybody's just here to hear
again. What the fuck do you say that come on, Gorilla. What the fuck do you say that actually persuades people to say, yeah, we love to hear his crap?
It just takes a little bit of stuffing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Gorilla will never name the names of the people that are mailing him checks every week, right?
Hey, the Democrat never.
Or he's mailing them checks. I should say.
Hey! Paying for votes is a long-time honored American tradition, right there.
Yeah, that's true democracy in action.
There you
right?
go.
Yeah, that reminds me, I'm gonna need those checks pretty soon.
Yeah.
Let's see. A plus to A minus gets 26%. B plus to B minus gets 13%. And C plus to C minus gets 6%.
Yeah, the C guys get 6%. Yeah, there you go, Mikey.
Yeah, there I am. I'm in the minority. So
talking about rigging a vote, I should send you all a link here to vote in a poll, and I want you to vote for a certain one on the poll that they got going in the community tab. Not that I'm going full Democrat on that poll. No, we just got to save democracy. We just have to have a certain outcome.
Hey, speaking of democracy, I have a quick question for Mikey. I don't know.
Wait, just a sec, because Jerm, go up, promote yourself, because I know you got to get going pretty soon.
Sorry, fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tomorrow morning, the Filmation Classic Space Sentinels on Saturday morning cartoons.
When did that come out?
77.
Oh, okay. Really?
Oh.
Way back. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Jerm.
Night,
Jerm.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, we got Sci-Fi. So since Sci-Fi State has to keep going here, he has a watch party going on here in a couple of minutes. There, cannot remember what it is, but then
Overlord. It's a Japanese anime that he's been showing. It's called Overlord. Oh. It reminds me of a cross between Voltron and some medieval, ancient Japanese stuff. Like samurais and things like that, but with modern technology. Yeah.
All right, and he has a sci-fi discussion tomorrow. Then watch party on Wednesdays, so make sure to check him out. Thank you, FKCH 2005. He has a couple videos on his channel. Make sure to check him out. Thank you, Scurvy, for coming. I know. Thank you, Curtis Selby, for coming. Now, Curtis Selby's channel here, just like it's spelled, he talks politics, but the political channel you ever find. And he'll listen to both sides. Not that he'll always agree, but he'll listen to both sides.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jim's Landscaping LLC, #1 Commodore Productions, for coming. He has his occasional live streams. He has his puppy videos and his Star Trek fan films. All right, PvP, what do you got going on?
Nothing much. It's just been a crazy work week. It was a bad week. I won't go into details, but it was a week from Hades, basically. But I'm not even through it yet because I still got to work 7 hours on Saturday tomorrow. Yippee yahoo! But I don't have a choice because I got to get those hours in because the old good Easter weekend is coming up next week. So that means you can't work on Good Friday, of course, unless you're a total fucking heathen or something. Which my boss would not be impressed if I was a heathen, so I wouldn't have my job long. But working tomorrow, and it's going to be a very short, little, tiny weekend. And yeah, I've just been too busy to even think about my channel. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just been like that lately.
Yeah, but I will give you credit, PvP, for your playlist, because believe it or not, I have been finding a wellspring of songs that I've never really heard from in like decades.
Anything particular?
Well, you had some good Blondie stuff there, and since Clem Burke just recently passed, I actually downloaded most of the Blondie songs.
Oh, good. So, I actually before I went to bed last night, I started a Clem Burke tribute playlist.
Yeah,
and I think I only added like 4 songs because it got too late, so I needed to sleep.
Oh, I downloaded each song, and somebody
did I make that? I thought I still had that private. I didn't think I'd made that public yet.
Oh, I thought you did because I did manage to download views.
Maybe I made it public by mistake because I was so tired. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
So,
okay, as for me, Gorilla, so I might do a small little webcam on Sunday the 13th because it is Palm Sunday, and I just wanted to put out there what my thoughts are every year because right around that time we used to start watching Jesus of Nazareth constantly. My whole family would sit around the TV and we would watch it, and usually that was either just after we went to Palm Sunday Mass or the following week, which was Easter, and after Easter Mass and stuff, we would watch it. So just kind of a little background from what I learned. So that will be sometime on the 13th. I haven't determined a time yet, but maybe in the afternoon sometime. Of course, you guys know all about my shows I got going on next week, Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, the 4 shows I cover. Next weekend on Easter time, Charlotte Nightstar the Werewolf, our friend, said that she was planning a live stream. And I was thinking that I could link up our Mike Uses 4 channel with hers so that we could do a joint Easter type stream. And I haven't got back with her yet, so I'm going to see if I can. But just say that there will be something coming up next weekend during Easter time. So, keep an eye out for a live stream. It'll come from her or it'll come from me. So, whichever one of us does it. So that's what's happening on the Mikey Sues 4 channel for now. Oh, and one last thing. On the 26th of April, that's when we'll go back to our Star Trek and Star Wars fan films. The next one we're going to be covering the week before, so I can pass around a copy for people to see it. Is called the Star Wars fan film Heir to the Empire, HEIR, which is Grand Admiral Thrawn, and this is supposed to be events just after Return of the Jedi and just before they do The Force Awakens. So, yeah, it should be fun. It's a good fan film. I've seen it a couple times, and hope that others will get a chance to see it and come join our review.
Yeah, I mean, can you post that in Facebook? Like, just post those links to me in Facebook because you got my.
Oh, I will. But it won't be until that the week of say.
Oh hell! My
26th.
things are so chaotic here right now. I'm not even making plans anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Other
It
than
won't
getting
even
up and
happen.
working, Hey,
Yeah, but don't worry, you'll get a copy.
Have you done the Unification Star Trek one yet?
Star Trek episode Unification? You
Yeah,
mean
the
from
fan film.
Oh, no, I haven't. No, I haven't done that yet.
Oh my
But I
God.
have thought about doing it. Because I've
It's
seen
incredible.
it
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
now. Sorry,
Okay.
Gorilla.
Sorry,
Okay.
Gorilla.
So what's
All
up
right.
with you, Gorilla?
All right, as for me, we're gonna start the Terminator movies on Sunday. There, Tuesday
cool.
we'll have a cigar lounge. Thursday we'll have Serenity. Then next Friday we'll have the Waltons episode, The Burnout. We're gonna go for about 2 hours, and then we'll do a part 2 afterward next time.
Oh, because the burnout is in 2 parts. Oh,
Well,
shoot.
it's an hour and a half long episode, so we're gonna review for 2 hours. Then once we hit that 2 hour mark, we'll put the rest on to part 2.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So with that, everyone have a good night, and remember to be a gorilla.
Good night, Gorilla.
Good night, Gorilla.
Thanks to you,